And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. It's the Barnes, Tony, Michael, Shanna show today.
Oh, wow.
We included Shanna.
How's everyone
so
doing?
nice,
How's
dude.
everyone doing?
I'm doing great, man. Nice cold Monday morning. Finally, absolutely totally stoked for the winner. So, and of course, obviously exciting games
Barnes, please.
that were on. I'm not done yet. Exciting games that occurred yesterday. I mean, so much goodness to recap here. What, Michael?
I don't
what, Brian?
think
What?
there's enough time in the world to have this discussion with Tony about the craziness of liking the cold. Like, there's not one benefit to it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
bullshit.
that-
What do you mean there's not one benefit to it?
But not with a big rant, Tony. What is, at the end of the day, just because you're not sweating? Like, that's the only reason you like the cold?
I just feel like, I mean, I don't know, call me crazy, but I just feel like in the winter, the air is just like, I don't know, cleaner, less stagnant. I don't know.
Definitely call you crazy.
You walk outside and you just get a nice breath, like in through the nose. You feel that crisp air going through your sinuses and everything. It's just amazing.
The only thing I would say is I would rather have that than like 120, 120 degrees.
120
like
degrees is unrealistic, though. What is that? What do you mean?
Scottsdale, 110, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Vegas, Scottsdale in the
Yeah,
summer.
but
I'm
you're
saying.
going like from one extreme.
Well, I'm saying if I had to go with an extreme, I would rather be cold. However, it's still annoying as hell, and that's what Matthew said.
What's annoying
if
about
we
it?
we could just update
Oh,
it.
yeah, sure. We have a few comments
Wait,
here
are you going to ask
off
me?
the rip. No, not yet.
Wow, dude.
All right, so we got Matthew coming in, says, fuck off with the cold, Tony. He goes, fuck off. And then my mother says, go Giants.
Oh, that's nice.
And then my mom, not my mom, Matthew says, you look good though, Tony, mustache man. And then he says, cold weather sucks ass. And my mother says, the air is much more beautiful to breathe. Thank you, Mom. Matthew says, give me 120 every day. And then my mother says, we have Canadian in our blood.
Oh man.
So I'm so sorry. Let's get Michael's
yeah.
opinion.
I mean, I know it's along the lines of what I said. It's just
No, I'm not even.
uncomfortable.
I don't need to say anything. Barnes took it away. That's
Yeah,
why I said
exactly,
he's going to speak
'cause-
for me.
Yeah,
Also, after all that,
because
you're
me
not
and
even-
Michael are in
my weekend.
lockstep about this, and it's just like, you just want to be able to go outside and like have a catch or something,
first
or
is, hey.
like, just like sit outside for a little bit. You can't. It's just too cold.
Why
It's
can't
like,
you? It's ridiculous.
you have
Just bundle
to-
up. Like, why don't you just bundle up?
It's just such a ridiculous argument, though. It's almost as ridiculous as Buffer saying he's coming to this past weekend.
I was
right?
going to say
I know, you
that. and
fumbled
that's,
it, dude.
That's what I was going to talk
Did
about
we-
this weekend.
did
Had a
we-
great time. Not only shout out the Knowlton, shout out Craig O, shout out our team. It was so much fun, and everybody that came through, except Buffer, he did not come through. I can't wait to hear the excuse.
nonsense. Yeah, just gonna be complete nonsense. But we're used to that at this point. And Matthew's calling for Tony to go to Canada.
Says, go back to Canada, Tony.
He's telling you
And then
and
he
your
says-
mom to go back to
and
Canada.
then Buffer all of a sudden has
says,
COVID.
JK, stay here, please. But first says, I caught COVID over the weekend. And then my mother says, it's football
that
weather.
doesn't count anymore. It's like
you
the flu.
lied.
And then
Buffer, you lied.
Matthew says, prefer you lied. Shannon, what do you, cold or hot?
Hot weather, Shanna. You can't breathe in the cold, she
I
says,
can,
folks.
what's ridiculous?
Yeah, it's one of these things. I know you know it too, Michael. It's like, look at Tony. Like, it's like at the end of the day, he doesn't actually enjoy being outside when it's 20 degrees. He might say that, like, just for argument's sake. He
Mhm.
doesn't like it.
No,
Yeah,
he
so-
doesn't. He doesn't chill out there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
he's
like,
not out
you know
there
what I mean?
having
You
a
can try to
picnic.
spin it. It's like just like thinking Halak is a good goalie. He doesn't actually think that. He just wants to
That's
get me tight.
ridiculous. Why would I?
Hey, Tony,
I
I'm just saying.
honestly,
We're one step ahead of you. It's okay. It's okay.
Unfathomable, honestly. That really is unfathomable.
But there's a lot to go over, Tony. So let's just go to the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. To Evans, touchdown, Tampa Bay. How about that throw? Sam Darnold blasted. Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? In trouble once, brings him down. Lost one from Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down, touchdown.
A Sunday it was in the NFL, Tony, and there's only one thing that's appropriate for this recap. It's like Chris Berman is here. All right, so just a lot to run over from yesterday. We'll start with the Germany game between the Seahawks and Buccaneers. Scoreless first quarter. Tommy gets the fellas on the board with 2 touchdowns in the second quarter to make it 14-0 Tampa Bay going into the half. And really, Tampa controlled this game, the majority of the way. So you had that 31-yard touchdown from Brady to Julio Jones, 7-0, and then Leonard Fournette from 1 yard out, 14-0. Jason Myers, the only scoring in the third quarter, 55 yards out. Godwin caught a touchdown from Brady to make it 21-3 in the fourth. Tyler Lockett, 21-yard touchdown pass from Geno, 2-point play, no good. The Seahawks get the ball back on a Brady interception because technically it was Leonard Fournette too. You see, they tried to do the Philly special. Tony.
Yeah.
It's like the 4th time in a row that's failed. So I don't know why they think Brady could catch passes. However, Seahawks 19-yard pass from Geno Smith, make it 21-16. Don't get the ball back. Bucks win, first place, NFC South. Brady once again is crazy. Is he about to go on a run, Tony?
It's got to be undefeated is the divorce.
Oh, that's funny. You know what's funny, though? I saw a thing where it's like, your boy, Nick Wright. You love Nick Wright.
Yeah.
Even though I think his hair is hilarious. That thing is just so
biggest
funny.
comeback of all time.
And, but he was saying, how funny is it in the playoffs? He's going to have Daniel Jones and Geno Smith to go up against.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. We'll talk about the Giants in a second. I think, though, the Seahawks actually could be a tough out, especially if they have a home game. Giants with Jones, though, I think that's a different story. But moving along here, game of the day, Tony, 33-30. Vikings over the Bills. This one had everything, and really quite possibly the catch of the century. Justin Jefferson, unbelievable. Kind of like a combination of like Odell and David Tyree. The one-handed snag on a 4th down when they needed it. And really, this was just the epitome of, a game that you wouldn't expect Kirk Cousins to win. But for whatever reason, Josh Allen has kind of turned into that guy who's making the mistakes late. The biggest one was, they get the ball back after stopping the Vikings on 4th down. Mm-hmm. All they need to do is get a couple inches on a quarterback sneak. They fumble, leading to a Vikings touchdown. Then, force overtime. But unfortunately, they lose on a 33-yard field goal from Greg Joseph, after another Allen interception. And it just seems like lately he just cannot do anything right in crunch time. You look at the Bills from the third quarter on, they only scored 6 points, no touchdowns, I think, in the second half the last few weeks. The numbers overall are good, 330, but 2 interceptions, only sacked twice, but just not enough to win here. And right now, the Miami Dolphins, and we'll get to their game in a little bit, are in first place. The Bills tied with the Jets for second. The Vikings just simply cannot lose. Now 8-1 atop the NFC North. Cousins 30 of 50, 357, a touchdown. He had 2 interceptions as well. But he toughed it out in this game. They got a great game from Dalvin Cook, 119 yards and a rushing touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 10 receptions, 193. Outdueling Stephon Diggs, who had 12 for 128. Obviously, the two were traded for one another a few years ago. Do you feel just because of, Jefferson being younger and, the extra couple draft picks they got that the Vikings won that deal? Or do you think ability-wise, they're neck and neck with one another? Diggs is just a little older.
Yeah, I think it's pretty even. It's
Yeah.
pretty realistic.
They're both unbelievable.
Right.
It's,
and who knows? Honestly, it could be a toss-up in terms of whose career is longer. So,
and if the Bills go win a Super Bowl in the next year or two, obviously worth it for them. And same goes for the Minnesota Vikings. Do you see them having a chance here, Tony, to possibly go to a Super Bowl?
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
Are we going to NFL primetime restart?
Wow, big lull here. No.
Yeah, I feel like just restart it though. Honestly, I don't. This is honestly getting me a little tight. Like that's not our primetime,
I guess maybe it's the weather too, dude. I don't know.
A little tick up on the volume. Oh man. No,
you want to get to the comments,
do we even acknowledge these comments anymore?
I want to hear.
Sure. Well, first of all, my mother says move to Florida.
Go to Florida.
That's where you belong, Brian. And then Befur says, should my doctor call in the show to prove I got COVID? Yeah.
Tony, can you just say that's just ridiculous for us, please?
It's kind of ridiculous. But if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I'm not going to Florida. The winter just is annoying.
No, I wanted the Befur thing. What are you talking about, Brian?
Oh man.
And then Befur also wants to know, and you probably know more about this than I.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Tom Brady and other ball players, Steph Curry, i.e., losing their entire fortune on the FTX financial collapse.
Well, a lot still to be determined. And even if they did lose their entire investments, they still got plenty of dough around the corner. So I don't think that's really a problem. Obviously a big scam, but that's what's wrong with the world today. And that's why sports is the best. So continuing on here, we saw the Detroit Lions, second straight victory, 31-30 over the Chicago Bears. This was despite another outstanding game from Justin Fields, running for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 67-yard touchdown run, left and right, getting his way out of sacks.
Amazing.
Passing the ball when asked, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And this was just an interesting game for the Lions because, you look at the offensive numbers, they weren't anything crazy. Goff threw for 236 in the score. They ran for 95 yards as a team, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 by Swift, 1 by Williams. And then St. Brown had 10 receptions, 119 yards, sacked Justin Fields 3 times, had that 1 interception. And that was enough to get their second straight victory here. So they're technically, their season's not exactly over just yet at 3-6. The Bears 3-7, but I think they at least feel a little better on the way Justin Fields has been playing the last couple weeks. But that late interception just does him in. What's your thought on Fields, Tony? Is this a star in the making? Despite the loss?
Yeah, I think so. I was seeing a lot of videos, of him just running around, comparing him to Vic, honestly. And I think he has a capability. And obviously, super tough loss here. Detroit kind of came back. They did let them come back. The Bears, obviously had their fair share of mistakes here, but I think Fields is going to be a great quarterback. Honestly, I do.
Yeah. It's turned into must-watch TV when it was before. You couldn't watch it at all. The Kansas City Chiefs, they always win 27-17 over the Jags.
They always win.
Kadarius Toney.
Looking good.
First career touchdown, actually, and first career touchdown as a Chief. That made it 7-0. Valdez Scantling from 18 out, 14-0. Noah Gray from 13 out, 20-0. But with 46 seconds left, the Jags scamper down the field. Christian Kirk catching a 3-yard touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence, 20-7 going into the half. The Jags answer back. Riley Patterson, 35-yard field goal, 20-10. Travis Kelce, 7-yard touchdown pass, the 4th of the game from Patrick Mahomes, 27-10. They get a 19-yard touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Don't get the ball back. And the Chiefs win once again, Tony. Are they the best team in the AFC?
It seems like it, right? How can you argue against it?
Well, I guess the people in Miami might have something to say. 39, they drop on the Browns. winning 39-17
On the Browns.
And once again, the Tua show, 285, only 7 incompletions, 3 touchdowns, wasn't sacked. They ran the ball effectively as well as new running back Jeff Wilson had 119 yards in a score. Mostert added 65 in a score as well, rushing for 195 yards as a team. Tyreek Hill, 5 for 44 in a score. And then Jalen Waddle, 4 for 66. Trent Sherfield and Alex Ingold caught the other touchdowns for the Miami Dolphins as the Browns fall to 3-6 here. Just couldn't run the ball enough given the deficit. All I would say, Tony, is I really would like to see a Miami-Kansas City playoff game. Would you?
I would also like to see that. Hill? Return?
Hill,
Kansas
Waddle. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that angle.
I know you don't.
But the thing is, it just I think Tua really to begin his career, and I was guilty of it myself. I'm just curious. Go further ahead. Do we have anything good?
How far?
Like just middle of it.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're going Boomer?
Oh, that was just the photo.
Jeez, a little disappointing, no?
Yeah.
NFL on Fox theme song? Can we do a little switcherooski here?
This is kind of nice.
All right. But I think
very stingy with the music today, Brian.
I think Tua, really like he was so hardly critiqued, and I just feel like it's like we saw him star at the University of Alabama when he had a lot of talent around him. Here he is in Miami. The talent's there. He's producing.
Yeah.
They're a fun team to watch.
Oh my god, it really is. Great team. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Their head coach.
Mike McDaniel,
absolutely hilarious. I feel like I don't know if you saw him, but it was with the sunglasses, the shades.
Yeah.
At the game, dude, he really looks like he belongs in Miami. And of course, obviously his storyline is pretty interesting. Not to mention, you mentioned, Tua's, Hill is there as well. Someone who's so incredibly explosive. Between the both of them, kind of, hooking up throughout the game. I mean, it's just must-watch football, right?
Yeah.
Just like Fields in Chicago. I mean, not to mention, the storylines with Miami. There was no lack of drama, I suppose, to his injury and everything. And, people still monitoring how he is. And he's still out there, like, risking his body, like, dropping his shoulder when he's running the ball and stuff. So, not only is he showing talent, athletic-wise, he's showing a lot of grit this year as well.
Heart of a competitor, Tony. The New York Giants 7-2 after a 24-16 victory over the Houston Texans, and once again Saquon Barkley stealing the show. 152 yards rushing on 35 carries, 1 touchdown. They ran for 191 as a team. Daniel Jones 13-17, 2 touchdowns, sacked 3 times. Darius Slayton caught a 54-yard touchdown pass. Texans tried to rally late, just wasn't enough. But Damian Pierce, nice year, had 94 yards on the ground. What do you make of this New York Giants team, Tony? I mean, it's the Texans, but a win's a win.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you were doubting them, right? So,
I still am.
Yeah, I know
they can't win a playoff game.
Playoff game, I don't know, but I mean, I would say, it's tough because their offense is still pretty one-dimensional, right? It's just really Barkley all day. We have 36 carries,
35 carries,
35 carries. Pretty outrageous.
Sustainable?
What do you think?
I don't think so.
Are the Giants frauds, Michael?
Frauds? I mean, define fraudulent.
Well, he just said that
Michael's looking for something now.
That those type of carries aren't sustainable. So I would imagine that's what he was alluding to.
I mean, for his career, no.
And I think too, Tony, the problem is like how I feel about Brady.
Tony.
But if it's Giants Bucks from Tampa, who do you think I'm taking? NFC wildcard weekend. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know who they can beat in the playoffs.
You would pick the Bucks over the Giants.
You wouldn't?
No.
All right. Time will tell.
I mean, I don't feel like historically Giants against Brady.
I know. I just feel like when you come to the playoffs, though, you can't just run the ball and win playoff games. It doesn't really work.
You probably could against Tampa Bay.
But, later in the season, catch their stride. Pittsburgh Steelers, Tony, get off the schneid yesterday, 20-10 over the New Orleans Saints. The return of TJ Watt. It seems like they only win when he's in the lineup. 2-0 this year with them in the lineup, and obviously 1-6 without him.
Very good math.
Quick math right there. Yeah, yeah.
And as far as the offense, Najee Harris, the offensive line helped him out in this one, as did the rest of the team running the ball. 217 yards as a team, 2 touchdowns. Harris had 99 yards. Kenny Pickett didn't turn it over, but he was sacked 6 times. Andy Dalton throws 2 picks for the Saints. But I think neither team is going anywhere. But I'm sure the Steelers just feel good to get a win, possibly a chance to continue that streak of non-losing seasons with Mike Tomlin at the helm, something that goes back to 2007. Right? I mean, it's got to mean something, man. You never know. You know what I mean? They could hang around.
Yeah.
They got to win at least another 2 games in a row to have any semblance of a chance, though.
But do you think they will?
It depends who they're playing.
Who are they playing, Brian?
But I mean, I would guess too, and I'm sure Chokri, when he sees this, will agree with me. I mean, I think though you probably are better off just losing, getting a better draft pick. But they are playing the Bengals at home this week. Tough one.
Loss.
But Watt, you never know if Watt goes off. And then they are at the Colts, at the Falcons, home to the Ravens, at the Panthers, home versus the Raiders, at the Ravens, Browns. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think you're looking at any better than 9-8.
No, I don't think so.
And that's a stretch. But nevertheless, nice to get a win and be interesting to see, who the future quarterback is there in Pittsburgh if they stick with Pickett or go for someone in the draft. Jeff Saturday, Tony.
He's a rookie.
Wins on Sunday, as you like to say. You're so excited to tell that joke. But 25-20, the victory over the Raiders. And he goes with Matt Ryan at quarterback. I mean, that was probably the easiest decision that you could ever make there. They run the ball very effectively as Jonathan Taylor, 147 yards on the ground and a touchdown, 207 yards rushing as a team. Ryan doesn't turn the ball over, only sacked 1 time. Do the Indianapolis Colts, Tony, have their future long-term coach in Jeff Saturday?
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, obviously it's 1 game, it's not gonna be like, oh my god, you won 1 game, he's gonna be the coach, whatever. But obviously I think it points to them being, in the right direction, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it was a complete overreaction to begin with to go with Ellinger and but I think it was good getting rid of Reich because it's the perfect example of a coach that's too passive. When the team is struggling, they need someone to hold them accountable. And I don't think he was doing that.
Yeah, no, very true. And I think people, like you said, overreacting. It's as if the Colts just picked up some homeless guy off the street who's never touched a football.
Did you see what Bill Cowher said?
Did you see what Dan Orlovsky said?
I missed what
did Bill say?
Bill was a complete disgrace to the coaching profession. That's what he said
serious?
Before the game.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
And they won, though.
Yeah, they won.
Why is that? Why?
No, and it's funny because I was making fun of Verse.
Because there's more people in that locker room that have been putting time in the years. Anthony, that's why.
No, because I think
like similar.
He just takes offense to the fact that he had to work his way through the ranks and that. But it's also there has to be something to be said. I mean, Saturday played a long, tough career, was at the top of his position at center. It's not like he didn't earn it. He's been around the game. He deserves an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, they could all shove it.
Yeah, shove it, dude. And Dan Orlovsky can still shove it too.
What did Orlovsky say?
Oh, anyway? He made some.
He said
Orlovsky. It was some stupid tweet about. Oh man, he was in favor of Saturday. It was literally it was format all caps. The disrespect, the disregard. The whatever, dude. It was a bunch of words.
You know what? He's just hating. He hasn't gotten an opportunity.
And then it's because he's trying to ride the coattails right now. He's a loser.
He is.
You guys.
He's a chief.
You guys are really out there.
He does not represent Connecticut at all.
It's unfortunate that he does.
No, he does not.
Was there a turning point? Was there one? I know it's
I never liked him. Never even knew who he was.
Was there one specific moment where you were like, "Are you kidding me?" Like the first one. Anything that stands out?
Just his voice and how chief he is, and then finding out he was a scrub, and then
talk about someone who doesn't deserve to analyze the game. You
as
sucked.
A quarterback, you
were good at Trumbull High or wherever he went. Shelton,
better at their job.
Hold on a sec. Last thing, dude, and then the freaking Tony's gonna love this. The shoes
with the suit, it's so tacky.
Right.
It's so tacky. You're supposed to be professional on national television. and you wear sneakers with your
Tony
suit.
knows
Very
I'm
tacky.
usually one to like to think outside the box, but
Right.
that's lame.
No, yeah, it is.
No,
so
I've
lame,
seen
dude.
that. I've definitely seen that. And I was just
Right.
gonna say, better at their job, Nathaniel Hackett or Dan Orlovsky.
Just hack it. Yeah.
As the Broncos lose 17-10 yesterday, off the bye, 10-0 lead,
dude.
17 unanswered. And they lose despite holding Derrick Henry to 53 yards, 2.8 yards a carry.
Mhm.
Just no offense late. Russ sacked 6 times. I mean, it is a complete mess there in
You're
Denver.
benching Russ, or what are you doing?
No.
You're like, what do you want to do? You're
Just-
Hackett.
I honestly, what I would try to do is next game. This is the problem with teams, and I understand you get in certain circumstances, but if like you're struggling past the ball, you got to run it down the other team's throat.
Right.
And I don't think teams try that enough because of just the glitz, the glamour of throwing the ball, throwing for a lot of yards, chunk plays. Everybody kind of is obsessed with that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, like in any sport, people enjoy that flashy shit. So that's what you wanted them to do, run the ball.
But I still think even 6-3, probably going to win a division. Tennessee, I mean, it's almost the same thing as the Giants. I mean, I know Tannehill had 2 touchdowns yesterday, but I think, again, are you winning a playoff game?
I think it's a little bit, I know you're comparing them to the Giants. I mean, I think their situation is a little bit better than the Giants, to be honest.
Is it, though?
I feel like they have somewhat competent receivers, I mean, the Giants.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
If A.J. Brown was there, I would tend to agree more.
But you still agree.
And listen, I know I get a lot of stuff wrong, Tony, but I got this one right. Packers 31,
Unbelievable.
Cowboys 28, the overtime victory. The 14-point collapse in the fourth quarter for the Cowboys. Do you know before yesterday they had won 195 consecutive games where they were up 14 points in the fourth quarter? The Cowboys.
The Cowboys did.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have McCarthy
That sucks.
throwing the headset.
Oh, he was so
not
tight.
settling for the field goal in overtime.
Oh, no.
And then the Packers committing to the run, throwing with Rodgers when they could. 207 yards as a team, 5.3 yards per carry, rushing touchdown by Jones. Rodgers had 3 passing touchdowns, all to Christian Watson, who infamously,
There we go.
dropped that touchdown against the Vikings in week 1. Just like Brady, obviously one loss more. Are the Packers, Tony, capable of going on
I called it.
run?
No,
here?
I called it last
No,
week. You asked
no.
me. They're gonna do it.
I did ask him last week. He did say it.
They're not gonna do it.
I mean,
It's just typical
impressive
Rodgers.
win though. No, Cowboys. I mean, one of the
Yeah.
top teams in the NFC.
Yeah,
Just-
no,
he
it
just
is.
hates
one
on
of the top defenses
Rodgers.
too. That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
I don't just hate on Rodgers.
You don't like the discount double check.
Actually, I kind of enjoyed that one.
I think the one positive thing here for the Cowboys is, and I know it's like beating a dead horse for me, but Tony Pollard is unbelievable.
He really is.
Another 115 yards rushing, 5.2 yards a carry, a touchdown. Zeke sits out with the knee. I just feel like it's like, I know it's like the contract, Jerry not admitting a mistake, but I feel like Zeke's got to just be the short yardage goal line back and have
Yeah.
Tony Pollard get 20 carries every game. He's so explosive.
I know, he's so good.
So that's the one thing that they, but I think it's tough though. You lose the game, you feel like you should win. But it's all about what you do next. And obviously the Cowboys a lot better position than the Packers. Who do you think the top team in the NFC is, Tony?
It's so tough after this past week. Just because obviously, with certain teams losing, I mean, the NFC, I guess you would say the Eagles, right? I mean,
Yeah, but they've had a
Ow.
weak schedule.
Yeah. So the jury's still out.
I do think the jury's still out. I mean, you could, even though they lost this game, you could almost argue that the Cowboys have the most complete team. The defense, the
Yeah.
running game.
Who are the Eagles playing next?
The Eagles are actually playing Washington tonight, Monday Night
That's
Football.
right. That's right.
Buck Aikman. I haven't heard anything about a Manning cast, but we'll have to see what the deal is there. Next up, though, for the Cowboys, great game against the Vikings in Minnesota. That's the 4:25 window this Sunday.
Love that.
Then they play the Giants, the Colts, the Texans, the Jags, the Eagles, which will be a great game. I think on Christmas Eve, actually, and then the Titans and the Commanders. So I think that's a very important game against the Vikings. Just because you lost the game you should have won against the Packers. You're already a few games back in the division, outside looking in there, and you want to solidify yourself with as best of a seed you can coming up for the playoffs. And giving away games. I mean, that's no recipe for success. But I do think, with all that being said, that the Cowboys will be just fine, and that should be a good game next week in Minnesota. We had the battle of the backup QBs in Los Angeles, and the Rams are just a mess right now as they fall 27-17 to the Arizona Cardinals. A lot was made of this game of how they looked better with journeyman backup quarterback Colt McCoy than they usually do with Kyler Murray. Obviously all the controversy this offseason with the contract, the language in the contract, the worth ethic, all of that. But everyone else stepped up with him out. Hopkins 10 for 98. James Conner had 2 rushing touchdowns, 69 yards on the ground, also caught 3 passes, and McCoy didn't turn it over, sacked twice, threw a touchdown, and threw for 238 yards passing. For the Rams, once again, they can't run the ball. And when we think back to when the Rams were really successful, other than 2 years ago, last year, very good running the ball. I thought it was a mistake to get rid of Sony Michel after Cam Akers hadn't really proved himself. They only rushed for 3.3 yards a carry in this one. At 3-6, it's hard to argue that their season's not over. And not to say that the Cardinals are in a great spot either at 4-6, but at least they have some semblance of a chance, I think, just because they have some playmakers on the offensive side of the football. Last game of the night, San Francisco 49ers 22-16 over the Los Angeles Chargers. And kind of like I alluded to when we talked about this on Friday, the Chargers, a big spot, prime time, Brandon Staley, it just doesn't seem to work out. The Niners, I mean, they didn't do anything crazy. They played good defense. They got to Justin Herbert twice, only allowed him to throw for 196 yards, forced 14 incompletions. Christian McCaffrey had a rushing touchdown, caught 4 passes out of the backfield, but Elijah Mitchell made his return after being out since week 1.
Really good.
Looked better than McCaffrey.
Pretty crazy.
So, Kyle Shanahan loves running the ball. 157 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for the Niners. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, 19 out of 28, 240. Didn't turn it over. No touchdown passes. Only sacked once. All I have to say is, we'll see what happens with the NFC West. Maybe the Niners can make a comeback here and win the division. And if they do, all I could say is I don't think anybody wants to go to Santa Clara come playoff time. Defense, running game, good coach. Just saying, it's not going to be an easy spot, no?
No, I thought you were going to knock Santa Clara. I thought maybe you had something against the city.
No. I'm saying it's a tough matchup, no?
No, it definitely is, dude. I think they can, if they do make that push to get into the playoffs, it could be dangerous, yeah.
Because you know what it is? When we really think about this, is there a team in the NFC currently that you would say, they can't, the Niners can't beat them? Like, you could see them beating any of the teams.
Yeah, that is true. But I could also see Jimmy G just kind of blowing it.
But if they're able to establish the run, that's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of like the stubbornness in the NBA to consistently shoot 3-pointers.
Right.
Like, you can't hide and have no running game. It's not going to work.
No, yeah, obviously, if you're running the ball really well and a team doesn't have any answer for that, yeah, it's going to be tough. But I still feel like
you have to pass, but I'm saying you have to have a threat to run. That's
threat to run, of course. But I'm still, if Jimmy G drops back and throws an interception,
I know, but I just think, though, they have playmakers that can take a 2-yard pass the distance. We don't need him throwing 30-yard outs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But last game of week 10, Tony, Commanders at Eagles. Eagles heavy favorites here, giving 11 points here against the Commanders. Obviously the lone undefeated team in the league. Taylor Heineke getting another start here. For the Commanders, obviously, they've played teams tough. You look at the last few games. They're all 1-possession games.
Oh yeah.
They lost 20-17 last week to Minnesota. They beat the Colts by 1. They beat the Packers by 2. They beat the Bears by 5 and lost to Tennessee by 4. The Eagles haven't had too many of these tight games other than that 20-17 victory over the Cardinals. What are your thoughts going into this one?
I I still say Eagles landslide all day.
What's the score? And also, just to give some context here,
What do we got, dude? Context?
Total 43.5.
43.5. I think I can go over.
Over, okay. And then what's the score?
I would say, honestly, I'd say Eagles 34, Commanders 17.
Okay. So then obviously we're going spread here. So you're going Eagles minus 11.
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly take the Commanders plus 11. I do think the Eagles will win this game, but it's like one of those things when we talk about these big numbers, win the game by 10. That means that the Commanders cover. And I just like what they do in the running game. And I think really one of the more underrated running backs in the league is Antonio Gibson. Obviously Brian Robinson coming back from that gunshot wound, is a good story. But I just feel like Gibson, the power, the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, I love that. And I love what Heineke brings to the team. I feel like he's the opposite of Carson Wentz. He's tough. His teammates like him. They rally around him. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say Eagles in this one, let's say 35-28. But like I said, Commanders cover. Eagles go to 9-0, and that will put a bow, Tony, on week 10.
A bow, dude. I can't believe we're going to be heading to week 11.
And this is a big week coming up. Michael knows. There's no excuses. How pumped are you for the game in Foxborough this week?
This is the only game this weekend.
No, but it's like literally put up or shut up time for Zach Wilson.
Oh, he's going to put up. He will. I have no doubt he's the QB for the next 10 years.
I really hope so. I really do. Tony, look ahead spot. Your thoughts about Wilson and Foxborough this week in the Jets?
I think the Jets lose.
Is it close?
Yeah.
What mars them? Is it the Wilson turnovers or no?
I think it's the Belichick defense, honestly.
Causing those turnovers, though.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily so many turnovers, though, but just
stifling.
Big defensive stops, like not converting on third downs, those short, maybe 3rd and 3s. They're not able to get past the first down marker here. Belichick, the defense knows what's coming down. Pressure Zach. Zach shows some grit and some maturity and not buckling under that pressure. But, maybe he throws for 150 yards, maybe, dude.
Wow. Well, let's see, the total 38.5. Does it go under?
Way under that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So like 17-10, 17-13.
Something like that.
Yeah. I just feel like the law of averages, the Jets are due to beat the Patriots. I think it's 13, 14 times in a row. That's one of the longest winning streaks I've seen.
I could not think of another.
Between two teams, and I just want to wipe that grin off of Belichick's face. And I just want to hear him at the press conference after. Yeah, it's on next week. Guys didn't execute. Got to do better. That's what he would say if they lose. He just, because it's crazy, Tony. He hasn't had to do that in 10 years about the Jets.
Yeah,
he has not had to do. That's unbelievable.
That is pretty crazy to think about.
You're all the years,
it's one personal, huh, dude?
He is annoying. You don't think he's annoying? Just like, he's the man. Nobody can question him. He doesn't have to give reporters good answers. What type of guy is that? They're just doing their job. What else do you want them to do?
Yeah, that's true. They're just doing their job, dude.
He could give some better answers.
Is that your car,
Is your car alarm going off?
I can't hear anything.
Sorry, Michael Jackson just came on.
Let's see.
You hear it? Were you here last time? No.
No, right?
Because remember, it sounded like it was coming from over there, Tony.
Yeah,
I don't think that's me.
that's what you said last time too.
Well, hopefully someone doesn't come up.
I heard.
Do we want to send somebody down?
I think it was Shanna. Oh no, it's not.
But I don't know if I should keep pressing this.
Maybe go to the end of the hall and do it.
Bye, Brian.
Oh yeah, Shanna could do it. Never mind, it's too late, everybody. Anyway, let's go Jets. Screw Bill.
Screw Bill?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
It was Brian.
Where do you put your keys?
He puts it on his butt cheek.
What do you put your keys in your back pocket, dude?
Let's go to the world.
Why would
of the
you?
National
Why would you put your
Hockey
keys in
League.
your back pocket, dude? It's so embarrassing.
Here's Matthews. scores after goal. My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan Staal. Oh my goodness. Next to come right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
The cord coming out and the car alarm going off.
I know. Is
And-
that twice this week, I think?
Oh, I mean, at least. But you know what else you could count on? The Rangers losing every single game Halak starts. Literally, they're not going to win one game, Tony. And we could talk about not his fault, not his fault.
Mhm.
But the whole thing is he's at the helm every single time that they lose.
Well,
he,
not
he has to
necessarily.
have some blame.
No, yeah. I mean, obviously, we talked about this game beforehand. I mean, just really odd spot to start Halak.
And they had
It
to
just
know
doesn't
Vejmelka
make
was
any-
starting in New Jersey. They had to have known.
Right. Well, there's still no reason. Like, I mean, again, goalie matchups aside, like, it's not like, oh my God, they're gonna put their starter in, we have to put ours in. It's not like that shouldn't be a reason to be, oh, we're gonna start Halak now because we know Vejmelka is gonna be starting against Arizona, so we want to have Shesterkin. Like, that's not a good reason to be like, oh, we're gonna start Halak here. There's no reason to start Halak in Nashville. Like, it didn't make any sense. Why would that be Shesterkin's off day?
Oh, well, we want more fans to come out to the Garden.
Yeah,
It's a
does-
weak,
does-
weak
doesn't make
matchup, so
any
we'll start
sense, dude.
Shesterkin. What?
It doesn't make any sense at all. Really crazy game. I don't know if you just caught this game, Brian.
No, I just caught that it was a 2-1 Predators victory.
Right. Predators had like 18 shots on goal. I think it was less than that. Yeah, 18 shots on goal, right? Halak has 16 saves this night. And I mean, yeah, it was like Halak definitely, the fact that he is kind of slower in his old age, that hurts. But it's just so, I mean, Rangers were 0 for 5 on the power. Like, Rangers did not also play well. 0 for 5 on the power play. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to beat most teams scoring just one goal. And against a team like Nashville, where you had like 35 shots on net, you were playing physical, and you had 32 hits to Nashville's 25. Faceoffs were pretty even. Block shots were even. Penalty minutes were basically even. Nashville was also 0 for 4 in the power play. So you did good. Rangers had good defense. Obviously, on the penalty kill and holding Nashville to just 18 shots. I mean, that's great defense, but your offense is nowhere to really be found. At least your good offense anyway. You're kind of, again, 35 shots on goal is good, but I mean, they weren't really quality shots, I suppose. There were definitely some missed looks in this game. We talked about where the Rangers always take their time and look for this perfect shot. It's not about that they weren't looking for this perfect shot, but there was times where there could have been an extra pass made where there weren't.
Right.
And it would have been an open man, would have been an open net sort of deal. Really like stupid loss. Again, we mentioned, it's 2-1. All the stats were in the Rangers' favor. I mean, obviously not how you really want to end a game here.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not, there's no excuse. I mean, that's it at the end of the day. You got to beat Saros and the Predators. And especially, Halak shouldn't be there anyway, but the fact that he gives up 2 goals, like, you can't score 3.
Mhm.
I just feel like that's pathetic. And if we're scoring 1 against Nashville, how are we going to score 4 against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and it's also like Saros isn't that good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like, he's not.
So I just thought this was an unacceptable loss, and some of the blame definitely has to be on Gallant here for starting Halak, and then just what I mean, his players not responding to him. So that was disappointing. And then we moved on to yesterday, which it's nice to get a win no matter what the circumstances are. 4-1, and Shesterkin played probably his best game of the season almost. A lot of saves, only allowing that 1 goal. But overall, it was 31 out of 32, including 17 actually in the first period. But I just feel like offensively, again, I know you won the game 4-1, but you didn't score any goals in the first period. And you're going against possibly the worst goalie in the league, and Connor Ingram.
Mhm.
Has just not given the Coyotes any chance, any time that he's played this year. So I just feel like any team would have been able to put up 4 against him. So, going into, and, you have a few days off here. They don't play till Thursday, which starts their West Coast trip in Seattle against the Kraken. I just feel like you got to be better, or this West Coast trip isn't going to be pretty. And, it just can be interesting to see against better competition, how much can they score? Because they haven't shown an ability to do so recently.
Who did they score 8 goals against? Was that Dallas?
Detroit.
Detroit.
But I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
Detroit's a playoff team.
No, Detroit is not. But I mean, this is another game when you look at, something that's been working so well for the Rangers was their power play unit. And this weekend, Sunday they were 1 for 4 in the power play. What did I say they were yesterday or Saturday? 0 for 5.
There you go.
So you're 1 for 9 in the power play. That is something specifically against these teams too, where you should really shine. It should be almost like a guaranteed goal. You should be 3 for 4 in the power play on these nights. Again, against Arizona, I know, it is a win. That's great. You did your work 4-1. There was some nice battles in front of the net that Kreider won, which led him to kind of getting that nice deflection goal. You saw people doing the right things, which I think actually was the 1 goal in the power play. But it's like face-offs. You only won 20 out of 52 face-offs here. So you're winning less than 40% of the face-offs. That leads to obviously not possessing the puck, not having good scoring opportunities. A lot of those faceoffs lost too. I mean, you're losing faceoffs, that were, in Arizona's defensive zone. Like they ice the puck because you're having a good shift. You go to the faceoff circle on their end, you'll lose it. You totally lose your momentum. Like you got to be winning those faceoffs. You got to be scoring more in the power play. Obviously, you won, but I mean, we're kind of holding you to a little bit of a higher standard here. Like Brian said, you have a West Coast trip that historically you do really well in. But you know what? You're going to be facing a really good Seattle Kraken team to start off this West Coast trip here. And, LA isn't someone you can really overlook. Even, Anaheim too. They have some talent. So, I mean, it's nothing really that you could just be walking into expecting to win. You have to do these little things right. Like winning those faceoffs, taking advantage of the power play opportunities. I mentioned that they were playing really physical. They played physical yesterday as well, 31 hits. People were getting gritty as well. There was a lot of, contact and pushing around after whistles. That's what I love to see from a Rangers team. Someone who's gritty. They don't back down. They have each other's backs as well. So that's a good sign. I mentioned the physicality and winning battles in front of the net. That's good too. But again, it's just power play, face-offs. Are we fine? No?
I mean,
skeptic?
I
Brian?
think I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but
You want to fire Glenn?
yeah, I do. I just don't get positive energy out of him.
What do you want? You want to order Tortorella a lot of money? Get him over here?
No,
Barry Trotz?
No, not Tortorella. Barry Trotz, probably not either, just because I think you said right, like the players hate him.
Yeah, he's just a tough guy to kind of deal with. And I mean, when you think about it, I mean, he's been into the playoffs so many years in a row with Ovechkin.
Right.
1 cup.
I honestly, I want somebody from the Rangers past, and whether that's Messier, whether that's Lundqvist, I mean, obviously, like I said, St. Louis would have been nice, but I'm almost thinking Messier, honestly, because I just think he would command respect, almost similar to like a Jeff Saturday situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think because they've approached him. I think I don't know if
Quinn
it
was
was
out.
Tortorella or Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine before Quinn, they approached Messier, and I don't think he really wanted to do it.
Yeah. But you think, you put a couple extra zeros at the end, then it changes his mind, or?
Brian, this isn't just pile more money on, okay? I don't know, maybe, possibly. I mean, he does the on-air stuff, so.
Well, and the problem I will admit, and I'm still learning here with hockey. I don't know a ton of coaches, so I feel like you over me would know, just some idea of who would possibly be a candidate that's out there. I know, obviously, you mentioned Trotz. I believe Vigneault's a free agent too. But he doesn't seem like a guy that is well received as either.
No, and we already tried him.
But I'm trying to think just who else from the Rangers past. You know, I mean, is Hank the answer?
I mean, it could be. I'd be interested to see how he can kind of translate into being a coach, but I don't know. You're always a little weary, I feel, of those first time coaches. Especially dealing with the Rangers team that has a lot of young talent.
Yeah.
You kind of really want someone who's coached before, you know, specifically coached youth, like young guys in the league. So I don't know. It's tough. I mean, there's not like a lot of coaches that are just available. You mentioned Elaine. I mean, that's not great.
Nah, just kidding. But he got up to a good start, though, Vigneault.
Yeah, he did. He did have.
Yeah,
and you know, it seemed like the players respected him for the most part. But then I guess maybe he was a little bit hard to deal with for like management.
He almost seems like Gallant. Honestly.
Yeah,
like the same type of scour.
So I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty tough. You know, getting rid of the coach too, like mid-season is always pretty hard. You know, obviously in the case like Canadiens, it kind of worked a little bit for them with St. Louis, but we don't really have a St. Louis to pick up. So Messier would be interesting, but I don't think he wants to do it.
Yeah.
People always talk about Gretzky coaching too, but I believe he
did coach the Coyotes
and did terribly.
Yeah,
he was a horrible.
But also Coyotes, he didn't have.
Yeah, but even back then, like, come on, dude.
I think he would do a stand-up job for the Rangers, though. I really do.
Yeah, I
don't know. Time will tell, though. That is for sure. Only 4 games today, so we could each pick 2. And just to update you, we had our bonus picks on Saturday, all of that. But I have 12 points. You have 7. And then obviously already today, I have the Commanders. You have the Eagles, 11 points being the spread. Where do you want to go here?
That's actually a very excellent question. Let's see, looking at our games today. I guess I'll go with the Islanders.
The wave of momentum.
Wave of momentum for sure. And you know, I think they got beat by Detroit. I forget who they got. Yeah, they're a little upset loss by Detroit, upset loss by Arizona recently as well. Actually getting shut out by both of those teams, which you would think would be pretty crazy. And in the most recent game, Columbus, they won 4-3 in overtime. So it seems like the Islanders, who were off to this pretty hot start, a few of these games are kind of skimming by and then having a few tough losses. I think they're due. For a game we saw like their first matchup against the Rangers where they won 3-0, or they, grit out a win against Calgary, stuff like that. Especially against a team like Ottawa, who has been certainly, lackluster. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games. Their only win was actually against Tortorella in Philly. They won 4-1. But I think, going back home here in Ottawa, I think the Islanders are giving them some issues. Offensively, like I mentioned, I mean the offense of the Islanders, a bit of a lull, but we've seen what they can do. Give me the Islanders here. I'll say 5-2.
All right, I'm gonna take the Avalanche. They're facing the Blues, and obviously we know the struggles that they have had, and I know the Avalanche haven't been perfect, but I just feel like from a talent perspective, they run laps around the St. Louis Blues. And I think this is a game that Georgiev can really shine too. I don't have a lot of faith in that Blues offense, and I do have a lot of faith in the Colorado offense versus Jordan Binghamton. So this is a game where I see Colorado maybe scoring 2 in the first and kind of just coasting from there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 5-1 over the Blues. Rantanen with the hat trick. Gorgie, 20 for 21 with saves.
All right. Okay, so my next game, I'm going to go with Calgary. And honestly, I'm surprised that they're minus 170 here at home against LA. Maybe because it is their home.
Could be, though, really, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
Kings have been sneaky good.
No, yeah, Kings have been sneaky good. Calgary has been pretty lackluster. They're 6-6-2 on the season. I think they've lost 4 of the last 5 games, where LA's kind of won 4 of the last 5 games. And we talked about, Calgary, excuse me, and taking some time here for, Kadri to get used to, playing with a different group of guys here and vice versa. And I think for now that we're going to see a little bit of a turning point here in Calgary. Like I mentioned, they're going to be at home. I think you're going to see Kadri go off, finally kind of finding his stride here up in Canada. Give me Kadri with a hat trick tonight. We've seen his phenomenal score, goal capabilities. And I think it's going to shine tonight. I think Calgary wins this one purely offense. Even though, Markstrom's been okay, but I would say Calgary wins this one. Let's say 6-3.
Yeah. I mean, due to have one of those solid offensive performances at home that we saw so often last season. I'm going to go with a little upset here. Give me the Blackhawks at home over the Hurricanes.
Chokery.
I know. I don't mean to do it to him. Ranta unconfirmed. The whole league is unconfirmed today for daily faceoff. So I feel like they're on the verge of an FTX bankruptcy at this point. But I just think it's just one of those things, Tony. You think you know things and you don't. And looking at all these games, would it be that shocking if we saw upsets in 3 out of 4 of them? If the Senators won, the Kings won, the Blackhawks won, and then maybe the Avalanche take care of business. I mean, I would not be shocked. I really would not be shocked.
Why can't it be the Blues win, the Blackhawks win?
Because I just think the Avalanche, the talent gap.
No, yeah. I think you're right. Again, I mean, I feel like it's any given day. It could be upset city,
Yeah. But the Blackhawks, I have to say, for being, much maligned and not expected much of them this year, 6-5-3. I mean, they're competing out there. Which I think is good. And then, Rata, I mean, he's not going to shut you down. So I think that gives you avenues to score a couple goals here. So I'm going to actually say 3-2 in overtime. Jonathan Taves, the game winner, giving the fans something to cheer about.
Yay, buddy.
So little light slate tonight. Be a bigger slate tomorrow. We got to make do, Tony, with a couple days off with no Ranger hockey, the quirks of the schedule.
So
if
stupid.
Mad Dog was a hockey fan, he would be talking about it for an hour straight today on Mad Dog at least.
I'm surprised he's not a hockey fan, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what? He probably doesn't have the patience to follow the puck. Think about it.
Yeah, and also I feel like, he's such like a pride and true, like just baseball guy. It's just like,
yeah,
maybe the game's like even too fast for him.
That's true. That's true. And then the only other thing really that I wanted to mention here, Candace Bank Houston Open, Tony Finau. So my second pick ever on this show that was correct. Think about all the golfers in the field. Tony Finau, my selection, wins by 4.
Wow.
Who picked him?
You're looking right at him. 16 under par, 4 shots clear of Tyson Alexander. Shot 65, 62, 68, 69 to cap off a victory. So, always love seeing Tony Finau, succeed at the highest level. Just seems like a great guy and a guy that really works hard. He had so many close calls, when he went on like a 5 to 6 year winless drought on the PGA Tour. So props to him for, not getting discouraged, sticking through it, because it's tough. I mean, it really is. No matter what sport you're talking about, when you consistently don't do what you set out to do, you have to doubt yourself at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that was a good story. And just looking ahead here. So what is it? We got one more tournament here before we have the Thanksgiving break. The RSM Classic. This one will be in St. Simon's Island, Georgia.
Jesus.
So something different here. Sea Island Golf Club. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of coastal views, Tony. So maybe we'll try to pull it up on
Fly
PGA.
down? Oh.
Just get a look at the course.
I'll be down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll end up playing 27 tonight, though.
Oh God, dude. Probably. You're probably right.
Seems like it's one way or another. And I feel like that's a perfect segue to what we have coming up today, because I believe we have 2 separate episodes of Gaming Corner.
Oh yeah, we're double dipping today in the Gaming Corner. It's gonna start off with 1 o'clock. Manny's coming in. Tony's gonna be there. We're gonna play some Mario Kart on Nintendo Switch. And if you guys saw, some posts we had for this weekend, there was an event in our space here with a giant monitor wall. We'll be playing on said monitor wall. How big is it, Michael? 90 inches? 90 feet?
90 feet.
5 stories?
It's not 5 stories.
Conceivably.
I'd say 4.5, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, not bad. Just a random guess off the rip.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I don't know about 4.5 stories. It seems kind of small.
You
Yeah,
don't
actually,
know.
no, because a story is typically around 8 to 10 feet. So actually,
It's huge.
Story, is that accurate? A story is 8 to 10 feet?
well, I just know, like, because when we do houses, like, usually like a standard colonial, okay,
Here we
in
go.
the front up to like the soffit area where the gutter is, 16 feet. So
You know what we have to do
8
one day?
feet each.
A how-to, like a siding and roofing, downtime
Mhm.
TV with Barnes.
Oh yeah,
Wow, that'd be dope.
That'd be so fun to film.
yeah. No, we'll definitely
Mhm.
Tony's
find
up
a
there.
way for that one.
But then after that, after the 1 o'clock gaming corner, a little bit of a calmness. You can go out, get some groceries, you cook some dinner, whatever. 6 o'clock back here in studio. It's Brian, it's Matt, it's Michael, it's Tony, it's Madden.
It's gonna be epic.
Madden, it's
Madden.
Manning,
Manning Monday.
Madden Mondays.
So
Just another Madden
all right,
Monday.
now, no, we got the Excel clock on. So is it 3-minute quarters? Is it 4-minute quarters? Standard is 6. I'm thinking 3 or 4. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Because I think with the Excel clock, it goes by so quick. I
let's
think we
do
could do
3.
I think you could do 4.
Yeah, I think 4 because
Fine, whatever.
you're getting 20 seconds just like simulated through. Like,
Um,
I
Hasn't played
hope
in a
I am
while.
welcome
Couple,
to Gaming Corner. I really
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to hang out at the studio on Saturday. It's just like,
Who said this?
prefer.
who else would say?
Prefer come tonight, bud.
Yeah,
Come,
tonight.
leave right now.
Yeah, wear a mask.
Leave right now and come.
6 o'clock. I mean, yeah, dude. And then before also asked, does Brady play at 50 years old? And then my mother says, who cares about Brady?
Wow.
So I would say yes. Honestly, he won't give it up. He will not give it up until no one's interested. Tony,
Yeah, I agree.
he's so obsessed.
Not
with
even when no
himself.
one is interested, he'll still probably
Do you think
play.
he's had the most plastic surgery in NFL history or no?
I don't really know. I can never tell. You ever? I've seen that
Michael?
video. I've seen that video where it shows like his rookie season and it kind of like
Oh my
dissolves.
god.
And, I mean, he looks like very
The hair
um,
transplants. We talk about Nick Wright
yeah.
having a big comeback. Brady would be completely bald at this point.
You think so?
You haven't seen like the old pictures, like with the bald spots?
No.
Yeah. He's had a hair transplant. I mean, come on. You think he's 45 years old and perfect hair, no grays, no bald spots? Come on.
I know you're right.
What a joke.
Does that make you angry?
Yeah, he hates it.
The hair transplants really.
Because you know what's annoying? It's like when he finally does retire, which will be in like 2045, then he's going right to Fox. I'm gonna have to hear the stupid voice on Fox. I mean, it's tough, And it's a shame because I really like Kevin Burkhardt. I mean, we'll see if he stays as the play-by-play guy. But
I mean, you think it's definitely gonna go to Fox?
well,
like,
it
he's
was
never
like
gonna
a
commentate?
$360 million deal.
Oh, he already. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that sucks.
But right, like it's gonna be so fake. I think is the biggest problem for me.
Yeah. Well, they never know. Maybe it'll be good. Tony Romo.
I'd rather listen to the Manning cast than Tony Romo. Not Tony Romo, but Tom Brady. You got me messing up what I'm saying here.
I didn't do anything.
No, I like Tony Romo. Though.
Yeah, me too. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like when he first started commentating, people were like, "Oh my god, like
But-
Tony Romo, you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah,
like,
but you know what the
it's
difference is?
trash. He
I
has the
don't
stupid Corona commercials, whatever he was doing at the time. It's
But-
like not good.
listen. I don't know him personally, but to me, like when he's broadcasting, he seems genuine. He doesn't seem fake, and I just feel like anytime Brady opens his mouth, it's fake.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, how do you take him seriously?
Oh, he's most winning quarterback. in history.
Yeah, but he cheated. No.
Yeah, I guess he kind of did.
Yeah, so riding the coattails of those early Patriot defensive teams, I mean, he was throwing for 130 yards in Super Bowl, first one, Rams, drove him down the field, but 130 yards, Tony. I mean, come on. How many more championships? I know you have him locked in for one before he retires.
I would say 2.
2?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What do you think, Michael? 0?
He's done.
Yeah. I called it. I said no more. No mas.
I called it.
No? Sorry?
You did?
Well, I guess we'll see when he retires. How many more? Yeah.
I just can't believe you're such a big Brady fan.
I'm really not
Huge.
a big Brady fan.
Isn't he though?
I can't believe you're such a big
I feel like
Brady
you just
hater.
but I feel like you just are always apologizing for him.
What, did I ever say I'm sorry?
Like, but I imagine anything about the plastic surgery
Right.
or.
Oh, I mean, hey, listen, the man wants some hair. His
But imagine-
jawline though looks outrageous.
Well, but that's what I mean by plastic surgery. I mean,
Right.
it's insane. I mean, you're a football player. You're not.
It is a little
a
insane.
model. I guess technically.
Technically,
yeah. It's just enough. But a lot to look forward to today. It was really great recapping everything.
Big Monday
this morning. Big Monday. Monday Night Football. But we really encourage everyone to keep commenting, liking, and subscribing. Archives, YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee in costume, merch, downtimetv.com. Everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the gaming corners, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.